a video.
Yeah, that woke me up, man. That was good stuff.
I was not expecting that. Welcome everybody. Welcome JPEG friends and family. Today on today's episode, we're going a deep dive on the infrastructure of JPEG DAO with the man, the myth, the legend, Brian Goldberg, also known as Beagle, the Golden Bee. Jack will also join today and to announce today's winner from our recently ended contest. Feel free to ask your questions in the live chat, comment section, or even in our Discord server. All of your questions will be answered. We're giving away 5 NFTs today, so please be sure to be active to enter in our giveaways today. Today's giveaways prize includes a total of 3 NFTs, a DX010 droid by Droid INX, 1 Gnaw Bear Advent Drop by Gnaw, the Bear, and the most exciting, a JPEG voucher. The list will be dropped. To participate, just send a message in today's live chat, and you'll be entered. For those who don't know yet, we've opened up a Telegram announcement and discussion channel for JPEG DAO. Please come out and check the links. It will be dropped in the live chat in the comment box today. So today we're announcing a JPEG DAO contest winner for the workshop. If you submitted your art was showcased in the JPEG DAO Discord and got voted on by the community. If you win your art, you'll get curated for members to buy with the JPEG vouchers. Something about the JPEG workshop contest, we received some very cool submissions and awesome art pieces for the competition. But since the theme was mountains or trees, some were eliminated due to topic irrelevancy. It was an anonymous contest where people didn't actually know who the submitter was for the art pieces. All the artists and their submitted artwork will be given a shout out on the JPEG DAO Discord and Telegram, so keep an eye out. Also, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. And let's take it away, guys. Welcome.
Welcome. Happy Friday, all.
Happy Friday. Good evening and good morning. So, what do you got for us today, Brian? Got a lot of questions for you today. So,
yeah, I was looking at kind of the discussion board we had. We have some really smart questions around DAOs and what are they and what are we doing. And we have the crew here, right? We got 3 of our 5 core members, and on top of that, we have Ray, who pretty much to me is a core member. So we got a smart panel. We got a smart panel here. I mean, Raymond is day one. When you talk about what he's signing for, I think Ray, you might be signing for the most amount of JPEG out of all of us. So yeah, what's our first question? Where do we start off about DAOs?
Well, you start off by, why don't you tell us, what is a DAO?
A DAO. Okay, so a DAO is a distributed autonomous organization, and just like NFT is a non-fungible token, that doesn't really tell you anything. So I like to break DAOs into. So overall, it's an economy or a community online that makes decisions and incentivizes people with a blockchain token. The decision making kind of falls into two parts. All right, it could either be. I'm getting a lot of static. I don't know if it's me or not, but when DAOs are making decisions, because they're an organization, they got to make decisions. They either make them with blockchain-based voting, or they make them as a community in other forms of kind of community decision-making. No matter how good the tech gets, you're never going to be able to say, hey, let's vote on executing a project. In the end, you're going to need humans to execute a project. And so there is this like blockchain element of let's vote, let's move funds around in an open source way with open voting protocols. But then there's the human element of a DAO. JPEG DAO is really focused on that. As the technology improves in Stellar around DAOs, we can bring it in and use it. But we've really kind of focused on how can we organize people for a DAO. And that's where we've really spent a lot of our time since we were really early going on this.
You know, one of my favorite definitions or one of my favorite analogies for DAOs is the vending machine. You know, you'll see that thrown around from time to time. If you think about a vending machine, when it's fully stocked, when it's got money in the system, it sort of runs itself. But at the end of the day, you need people to restock it, to figure out what type of snacks to throw in there, to take the money to the bank. So to me, that's one of the analogies that I think people can relate to a lot, as opposed to just this weird new concept. But DAOs have the potential to really reshape how we look at organizations and how they're run. It's sort of like flipping the pyramid, rather than top down. You're getting community governance, and as we enter this whole new Web3 world, it's a powerful tool.
Yeah, it's just one more note on the community is your different stakeholders, right? Your customers, your investors, your governors, your employees. It all blends together in a DAO. You join the DAO and you want to say, I want to lead marketing. I want to do this. That's going to be my role. Great. Prove it to us. Show us, right? There's no one that's making the hiring decisions besides just the overall community. And so it's an entire flip script on the hiring process and how people organize themselves.
Yeah. I mean, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I just want an example. Yesterday, I met two people who were interested in it, but I must have spent maybe 30 minutes explaining to them what is a DAO and JPEG, and just trying to go from step per step. Okay, what is JPEG? What is a token? Minting, NFT. So they are very interested, but it was like a different language to them, and they're almost afraid to get involved because it was alien to them.
Yeah, I mean, to Jack's point that he was mentioning earlier, it's a new concept, but I don't believe it's that new. It's a concept that originates from Taoism, right? It's just like harmony and everybody working together. I came across an article that I pinned on my Twitter that it's from 8 years ago, and it's from Terence McKenna's theory about time wave zero, but he explained DAOs at that time, and Bitcoin was kind of emerging during that same time. And you could kind of say Bitcoin was like the first DAO and the essential concept of the crypto world. And if you kind of look back to how it originated, it kind of was the first DAO.
I've heard crazy. The group chat with a bank account, so that's a good one.
And you'll see it sometimes named two different ways: distributed autonomous network as well as decentralized autonomous network. And I think they both have subtle differences, but when you look at it together, it helps understand exactly what it is. And really, it's basically the community running things. And that can seem like anarchy from time to time, but it really doesn't have to be. I think that when you have a lot of different voices contributing, the best ideas generally tend to rise to the top.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, we struggled originally with a lot of, I guess, if you want to compare it from givers to takers, a lot of people giving a lot of ideas, but none of them were really executing them, or we didn't have the resources to execute them, or it was something that we didn't have the right technology to execute them, as to what Beagle was mentioning earlier, leveraging some of what the features already are available on Stellar. But, touching on that topic, why would the community get involved in a DAO then? I mean, I got involved because I was like, what's a DAO? And that's how I even got involved to begin with. What do you guys think?
So I'll let you go in a second, Jack, but I have a very specific answer. And I think this was on, day 2, I put up a Reddit post and people just started jumping in. And I hit on a need. The need was, now this might be true today, but at the time it was true. There was this whole fan base around Stellar talking on Reddit about the news coming out, and this is going to happen, and this is going to happen. But they weren't doing anything. They weren't coders. They weren't developers. They had various skill sets, and they wanted to get involved. And so I offered a way, hey, do you have an hour a week? What's your skill? Are you a graphic designer? Are you a writer? Are you a project manager? Here's a place you can actually get involved. And I think that got kind of the first people in the door. Now, after that, we started getting people that were interested in NFT collecting and NFT making. So we got the whole artist community. And then we got a couple of the decentralized governance nerds like myself kind of coming in that are saying, I don't even care what the topic is. I want to get involved with how we manage things in a decentralized way. So lots of different people joining for different reasons.
Definitely true. And the great thing about a DAO is a lot of people do have ideas, and sometimes when you think you might have a grand idea, but how are you going to execute it? Well, a DAO sometimes is a solution to that problem, because there's been a lot of things that have happened with the DAO ideas that without community support, without that structure behind it, would have never come to be. And that's really empowering to folks when they're thinking about joining a DAO or getting involved, is your ideas have the potential to become reality in a way that in the past you may have had a great idea, but how are you going to achieve it? Well, with the DAO, you've got a whole community of folks that if you convince them it's a good idea, then those different skill sets, come into play, and next thing you know, it's actually something that's happening, and that's powerful. And I think it's one of the things that's most encouraging about the whole DAO life. So I encourage everyone to get involved, with DAOs of all types. JPEG DAO, I thought it was such a great idea, because when you're looking at it, how B Gold set it up with this NFT theme, it's very low risk. We're experimenting. It was the first attempted DAO on the Stellar network, and it's in the NFT space. It's fun. It's low risk. If you want to play around with this type of governance structure, NFTs are a great way to do it. You end up with, think about all the people who've been involved from the beginning. They've got so many digital collectibles, so many cool NFTs that have come out, and also had a chance to learn about what a DAO is and how it might look on the Stellar network, because without smart contracts, it's a little bit more challenging. And we have that to look forward to in the coming year. So that's something also to be very excited about.
Good timing for your image in the back there.
You like that?
On. Yeah, that just flipped on right as you were saying that they got lots of great digital collectibles.
Was that just a coincidence? Yeah, but I just want to jump in there for a minute. For example, I am working on a project at the moment, and I'm getting skill sets. I'm getting skill sets that I don't have myself: marketing, technical, transfer of payments, and we're grouping all our skill sets together to hopefully be working on a project in Kenya. And without the DAO, this would have not been possible.
You hit right in the head. You're gathering skill sets. I definitely have gathered a bunch of new skill sets since joining the DAO from October. And I met with a recruiter because I'm at school, and it's part of the process to kind of help you kind of get out in the world. And we touched a topic about the JPEG DAO, and she was like, "You got to add it to your resume." She was like, all those skill sets, all those things, even if it's like a couple of bullet points, just touch base on it, especially in the tech world. Like, that's what they want to see. It's not the fact that you're doing X amount of work. It's about that you're getting involved in these things, and these things are what's going to help build the future. I was like, you know what? I am going to add it onto my resume. Thank you for telling me. She's like, well, put it in the top. I was like, so like my 5 years of managerial experience and all that stuff in Salesforce, put it on top of that. She's like, yeah. I was like, all right, I will. So you're definitely right, getting into that point.
Yeah, like I joined the JPEG DAO probably back in October, and I have learned so much personally and professionally, because I'm interacting with so many different people with so many skill sets, and I'm learning. I'd say every single day I'm learning something new, because it's a great community and it's great justification for joining a DAO, because I just see the benefits every day of being on this journey.
Yeah, and I want to give you kudos, because of the philanthropy committee really has excelled and shown what DAOs can do. Between the trees program, between the phones to Kenya, the weekly meetings, everything is really on point. The philanthropy committee is sort of the committee that I think we should look to, and as an example of how the other committees behave and the practices, because the results have been tremendous. We're planting forests in Madagascar. We're empowering artists in countries that don't have the same opportunities that we might. And the things that are going to happen in the future are through philanthropy are the things that I'm most proud of in the whole DAO structure. But like everyone says, what you learn, you can't put a price tag on that. People talk about utility all the time, but utility has a lot of different faces. To me, utility is fun. Utility is education. It's not just tokenomics. And as we, kind of unroll and figure these things out, those are important. Tokenomics is important. Roadmaps are important. But this DAO is a little bit rougher around the edges than some of the other ones that maybe didn't start out as DAOs that we're going to see emerging in the next few months. We get to decide the roadmap. We get to decide the tokenomics. And those are, pretty significant aspects to help you learn and understand how not just cryptocurrency works, but economics works. So there's so many things that you can gain from a DAO personally that have far more reaching implications than just, when Moon, or when Lambo. So people might say, oh, what's going on with this? What's going on with that? Well, get involved. You're gonna see so many benefits, and everyone here, we're all OGs in this space with the JPEG DAO, and I'm so proud to have learned from each and every one of you guys, and not just you, but everyone in the community. We've had so many artists, we've had so many devs, a part of this team that are superstars in the Stellar community. Fragged Paul, Fragged Reality. That guy, I use his tool every day. I use that tool every day, and just to be able to chat with him once in a while, that's worth the price of admission. There's so much that you have to think about when you're getting involved with cryptocurrency beyond just the day-to-day price swings, because this is volatility. It's the nature of the beast with this world. And if you can gain skills and learn and grow as a human being in the process, that's invaluable.
Yeah, and just one point regarding the phones going to Africa. I was speaking to him yesterday, and one of the people who's getting a phone, he never used a computer before. He was learning how to use computers through a book. And it was only last week that he turned on a computer for the first time in his life. So he's going to be one of these candidates who's getting a phone, and with Jack's step-by-step instructions, he's going to be able to create NFTs and get revenue. $20 back to him would keep him going for nearly 12 months, and it gets the revenue into him. So that's how much appreciation they show for any bit of involvement from JPEG to that particular organization.
So many untapped potential all over the world, and one day it's going to be accessible from these devices. I can relate, not with the phone, but I couldn't use a computer directory before I started school. I knew it existed. I had no idea how to use it. So now, it's kind of like my whole world's blown because I'm pretty sure you guys know how to use it better than I do. But the JPEG DAO has taught me to like be better. I mean, I think I mentioned this before, but because of him now in school, because we are a little short on depths to really like build and take these ideas into the next level. So I figured, you know what? I'll put myself through suffering and learn how to do JavaScript and all that. I'll take one for the team.
We appreciate it, Fig. We want to grow the developer community inside JPEG. I mean, it started as, well, I'm not a developer. Great, come join. There's lots of things that need to be done, but of course, we also need developers. So yeah, great to see you learning.
Yeah, learn to code, right?
I keep having to think about it. It's bad. So I'm sorry to cut you off. What were you saying?
No, I was just saying that there's so many aspects to cryptocurrency, the metaverse, augmented reality. Coders are in demand, like nothing else. And if you're someone who's looking for a career change, man, it's a great option. And I'm jealous. I when I left my career of 30 years, I thought I would go that route, but I just don't have time with these kids and with all these projects I'm working on. But I'm trying to pick up a little bit here and there. But that's what when I look at my kids, I want to get them involved with that. That's the future. And it empowers you, gives you so many options because it is in demand, big time.
Just start on their level. Download those apps for kids, right? To learn get your kids how to learn how to code. I haven't slept in weeks. You can probably tell, but hey, man, I'm plowing through. So the next question we had was, what has been the success story of JPEG? And what projects have you fulfilled until now? So I think we touched a little base on that. Was there some other ones that we kind of wanted to mention? I know we have the Metaverse project with Sean, kind of working midsummer. Is there any other things that we can touch base on?
Trees project, advent calendar, exposing countless new people to NFTs, filling wallets with digital collectibles, lore, which should be rolling out soon. There's so many things, so many little mini success stories. DAO, the first DAO on Stellar, really, or the first trying to be, and what do you think, Beagle? What are some of your success stories?
I think one of the biggest success stories is this workshop, and I'll talk through that a little bit. You have Arnab, who came in and said, "I like what you're doing here. I can help do Discord admin. I'm good at it." So we did that. He saw a need. We need to help onboard people into the NFT space on Stellar. We need something that's bigger than just JPEG. We need to support the NFT community in general on Stellar. He put together a grant. He applied for the Innovation Fund. He didn't know any of us personally. He got the grant. The grant included putting these workshops together, doing the giveaways. He helped craft a change in the JPEG brand to a more kind of general support organization. So not even the workshops, but Arnab is the success story of the DAO, being able to take a human and have them take a vision and bring it to life through other people's skills, through a grant, through the DAO. Take an idea and bring it to life.
Arnab is a superstar. I told him the other day he could be the next Vitalik. That guy is, and that's almost an insult to him. That guy is. He's 19. Did you know he's 19 years old? He's going to school. Does he sleep? I don't even know. But holy cow, a genius. It's an honor to work with him. It's an
So,
honor.
yeah.
He's like the assistant I always wanted in my life, my last career. I'm pretty sure he's AI. There's no way that I can like
He's the assistant that's going to take our jobs.
let him.
But he's better. I mean, he's the guy. I hate to gush over someone too much, but holy cow, I love that dude.
Yeah,
He's the man.
I think right now it's like 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning for him, and he's still here. Guy's crazy, man. He's crazy.
I'll also mention our redemption tokens. This is something that a non-DAO would never do because it's too risky and potentially doesn't make money. What we did is we had Paul Fragile Reality come out and say, I want this weird ass spelled token, but in hex I'm not even gonna get this right, but in hexadecimal, it resembles a mountain. So on some Stellar wallets, you'll see a mountain where it says where the token should be. And I thought this was crazy. I'm like, okay, well, let's look at some other options here. And we voted on the mountain. I love it. I love the mountain token, and it's something that I would have never come up with myself. I would have never voted. Maybe did I vote for it? I'm not sure, but it was way out from left field, and it was something that as a DAO we decided on, and I think Paul was shocked that we voted for it. But it's something that you execute on, and we've done that a non-DAO would have never done.
Yeah, I definitely had no idea what that thing meant. And now coding, I'm like, oh, that was the perfect name. It really is. It's a hexadecimal. Yep, you're right.
Don't swap it for Aqua.
Don't swap it for Aqua.
Or you'll end up with a lot of Aqua. Yeah, they're worth like 500 to 1,000 JPEG depending on the day.
Man, I definitely saw those transactions, and I was like, they really didn't check their wallets before they did that. Which is interesting. I talked to my brother-in-law. He was like, hey, no more NFT drops? And I'm like, no, we're dropping tokens. He's like, what tokens? And I'm like, you're probably the guy who swapped it for Aqua. He was like, what's Aqua? And I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
So next question is, why did you choose liquidity pool reward system, and how does it work? That's a great question.
Yeah, so I've gotten this a few times since we did this, and I wanna provide a real clear answer on this. There's really two parts to it. First, we have some really advanced metaverse projects, and they're in the works, and they take time, especially when you don't have full-time developers. And so we needed time. We needed our holders to hold on to their JPEG and give us some time. And so the liquidity pool rewards are essentially very similar to staking rewards. You got to hold on to your JPEG and hold on to XLM and give us some time. Because there is no pure staking solution on Stellar. So I said, let's do liquidity pool rewards instead. The second half of the answer is I see going into the back half of this year and next year, we may give out some really huge grants for upgraded metaverse experiences. Sean's thing is going to come out. The Actionverse partnership with JPEG is going to come out, and that's just the start. We're gonna build to some really, really big solutions, and when these big solutions come out, they're gonna want like 50 million JPEG sized grants because they're gonna be building exclusive, big time products, and grants like that only make sense if you have a large liquidity pool. If you can say, yeah, we can support that. We are a fund. We fund projects for our members. You need a big liquidity pool for that. So those are kind of the two answers. One is give us time close to staking. The other is let's provide so we can start funding really big metaverse projects that just enhance our NFT value.
Yeah, give me at least 7 weeks until I graduate from this boot camp school so I can do something cool with it. So thank you for that. So looks like we have some announcements, right, to make for the JPEG DAO workshop competition winner. So who's going to lead that?
Jack,
I don't have the winners in front of me. I'm not going to lie to you.
See, I didn't have it either, but Gold, you do the honors on?
I think I know who won, but I'm not 100%. Yeah, I thought so. Thank you, mighty Arnab, who's literally in my ear. So yes, the winner, and by the way, the voting was, once again, we did not know who the artists were. The winner is Seraph, aka artist formerly known as Gnaw the Bear. Seraph is our winner. Just an incredible piece. Shows you, with or without fame, his art stands out above the crowd. So great job there.
I wouldn't. I mean, if you've been following him, you could look at that.
Congratulations.
And you know it's his. The anonymity.
This is
it's
true.
Like,
yeah.
It's like blind tasting a wine. That's an easy one.
Is it red or is it white?
Yeah, that's an easy one right there. Yeah, you look at that and it's good to have him back.
Surprise! It was pink.
Fantastic.
Now, were we going to do a mountain prize too, or was it just the one?
I think it was.
Well, let me just say this. There was a few mountain submissions that were pretty excellent too, and I would be happy to make those available as a member drop as well.
Jack, there was and as kind of our core member, kind of in charge of hiring artists, essentially. I just want to ask you a question on the spot about artists. There's only so many artists we can drop to members, right? That we can hire and drop to members. For other artists coming in that are new to Lightman or potentially veterans to Lightman, that say, I got some great art, I want to participate in JPEG, and you say, oh, we're filled up for the next 3 months. How else can we connect with these artists and help them?
Right. So first of all, we're not filled up for the next 3 months. We have a lot of great art in the pipe, but this whole submission process, and you got to give credit for Arnab and all the folks who worked on that submission form. I would like to see more of that. I'd like to see more art come in from the community, and the actual community then vote on it. That seems very DAO-like to me, much more so than me just arbitrarily deciding. Now, the new redemption model is great because it gives the members the option to decide, do they want this, do they want that, rather than just being handed a random NFT every month. And last month was a great example. We had a lot of really cool art. We had the Nigerian artist who minted for the first time. That's one of the ones that I actually took. I wonder if we'll end up on there before the show's over. But I would like to encourage people to continue to submit using that form. It goes to the website, and also submit art on Discord. Now we can, I have a lot of really good connections with artists, but so does everyone here on this panel. But at the end of the day, it's not just about keeping it in this small group of artists that are already successful. It's about exposing new artists. And as you've said, Beagle, we're kind of evolving into something more than an NFT club, but with like an NFT support group where we help new artists on board, whether they're in Africa, whether they're in Philadelphia, wherever. We try to give people the tools to learn how to mint, to maybe learn how to use some of the tools to create digital art, because digital art is different than traditional art, and in some ways it's even more exciting. You can have movement, you can have sound, you can have poetry, you can have anything that your brain thinks of. It's a brave new world when it comes to art. And a lot of people, when they look at NFTs, they think, oh, some pixelated something going for $63 million. This is the next tulip craze. But in reality, what it is it's the best new tool for artists, maybe ever. I will say maybe in the entire history of the world. They're able to directly connect with the entire world. They're able to self-publish. They don't have the restrictions of some gallery owner saying it's not good enough, or I'm going to take 30%. The options now for artists are crazy. I just did a presentation for my son's kindergarten class earlier this week about NFTs and art and poetry, and it was really pretty inspiring to see how well they responded to it. Every child loves to make art. That's one of their favorite things to do. Get the paints out, get the markers out. But when you tell them, hey, you actually have a chance to make a living with this, rather than saying, get a real job, there's something about that I really can get behind. And that's one of the reasons that the DAO, I think, is so powerful, because we're helping these on board people from all over the world. And like Fig was saying earlier, $20 in some parts of the world is a lot of money. And it's humbling. It's something that we should all be humbled by, that, and grateful for whatever situations we might be in. And if we can help folks, I'm all for it.
You know what?
What do you think?
Oh, go ahead,
I was just going to jump in and say, what do you think is the best way of promotion or advertising? Because to me personally, I think NFTs are still a niche market and not many people know about it. What do you think is the best way to promote it out to the masses?
Well, we should definitely get our committee members together, and we should start to gather some ideas from, that core group to kind of bring something together, right? Which is going to bring me on to the next question that I have. Before I do, with touching what Lou and Jack was saying, I want to give my the payment that I'm supposed to receive for being a core member, and I want to give it to divide it evenly to all the artists that submitted art, to kind of just, if they're new or old, whatever, just divide it all equally to all those people that submitted, just to kind of do something, So
that's super cool.
Yeah,
so
very good.
If Arnav can work that out, then everybody sends their wallets, and we drop it to everybody. Maybe they're new members, maybe it gets them closer to gold, whatever. Let's get them.
We're even silver.
Exactly. They're not even a member yet. So, that brings me to the next question. It's like, why do you have so many committees, where 2-3 committees could divide the work up by JPEG?
Yeah, so sometimes people talk about rug pulls, and rug pulls are possible because you have several individuals with a lot of power that can say, I'm out. The more decentralized, the more committees, the further you are from that. So if a few people get tired, other people can take the reins. And we went through this governance evolution where we said, you know what, let's have lots of committees and lots of governors, but they don't necessarily need to be executing. There's a difference between decision makers and executors. And so we have all these committees now with a small stipend salary, and it's fun. You get to decide on marketing or art or philanthropy. You get to be a decision maker. You may or may not have all the time in the world to execute on the projects, but we're just asking you for a small commitment to help make decisions and be a signer on the wallet, and keep decentralizing the JPEG community even further. I've thought of wacky ideas where you just kind of throw 20 million JPEG in the air and get 5 random or 10 random people to be signers on it, and they have to figure out what to do with it. So that's I'm not saying we're going to execute on that, but that's kind of the direction we're talking, is we're letting lots of people make independent decisions. Even though as a team we get together and say, this is what committees should do. This is how committees should compensate. Technically, each committee can do whatever they want. They're not truly bound to do what the rest of the DAO is doing. But usually they do, because like I said, there's a human element and there's a technology element. So I hope that sort of answers the question.
I think it does.
It's true.
Just sorry, jumping in again. Maybe it'd be a good idea every quarter, every 3 months, or every 4 months, all the committees meet. So as opposed to being just focused on one area, they could jump between committees or bring ideas to different committees. So it might be something to think about in the future. And maybe every quarter, all the committees meet just for a chat and share their ideas.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Just gotta figure out the time zone issues.
and I would love to see, as we're almost what, a little over halfway through the first term of the core roles. There's nothing I would love to see more than more people apply. We really we didn't even have a vote, really. There was one application for every core role. Nothing would make me happier than to have some great people come in with great ideas and I'll vote for you. I'll vote for you to do my job. Because if you really care about the DAO, you want the best people involved. And are you kidding me? Am I the best person in the world? Absolutely not. There's not even a chance. And I would love to see really great talent come into this space with really great ideas. And because I'm way more into the success of the DAO than some personal gain. So as we get closer to that, think about it. Look at the core roles. They're all public there. Think if there's a spot you want. That's what this is all about.
Another note about the core roles is it was the separation of governance is the committees. Some of the people in the committees are doing some executing. But ultimately, we have a project to run, and there's a lot of work to do. And so the core roles were supposed to be these people that are being paid to do some actual executing and jumping in when other people are busy or have their lives or have their jobs. People have talked about, what's the certainty? What are the KPIs that the core people are actually going to do their thing? I mean, what's the certainty that Joe Biden's going to do what he said he was going to do when you voted for him? There isn't any. It's called an election, So if you liked what the core role people did, vote for them again. If you didn't, vote for someone else. It's a short 3-month stint. And by the way, the 3-month stint, that was a community thing. We initially started with like 6 months or a year. People said, you know what, let's start small. Let's do 3 months. And we said, let's do it. So in about a month and a half, we're going to be up for voting again. If you liked what you saw, vote for them again. If you didn't, vote for someone else.
You'll have to start on your election campaigns again. So
I hope not. But on that note, definitely. I mean, at least we got one signature for each, right? We accomplished that. That was a good milestone for us. And you're right. I saw 2 people in the chat today. They're devs and just want to get involved. Beautiful. Get in the Discord and just start engaging with us. And to that, I mean, I think somebody asked, why do you feel the need of core roles? I think that kind of could sum up this whole discussion right here.
Yeah, it's to fill in the gaps when other people are tired or have work or have a job. It's to kind of keep things chugging along because ultimately we all have our own personal commitments. That's just reality. But don't get it wrong. The core roles report to the committees. The committees are the boss.
Exactly. And 3 months, that's nothing. That's a blink of an eye. That's like it's fall, that's summer, that's spring. And, with DAOs, especially young DAOs, when we don't really have the complete voting software, when we don't really have a structure in place, sometimes you have to have folks that are accountable. And that's not necessarily a great job to necessarily have, but if we have goals to accomplish, they need to be accomplished. And without people that are accountable for it, our members could miss out on drops, on development. So when you look at a DAO, you can't just look at a DAO and say, oh, everything about DAO culture is perfect, especially when the infrastructure on Stellar isn't fully in place for these to be pure DAOs at the moment. So to me, it's important to have folks that at the end of the day can say, let's go this way, let's go that way, and if you don't like the result, 3 months later, you can kick them out. You can kick them out before then. I mean, the way the DAO is now, if there was people were up in arms about any of us, I guarantee that their voices would be heard. So that, again, that's why DAOs are great. So, get involved.
The first wheel was made out of stone. It wasn't perfect. So, you're right.
Yeah. We've gotten some comments about like how to get involved, and it's really exciting to see developers getting involved. It's been great to be able to kind of build stuff without developers. That was kind of part of our core culture. But it's great to see developers getting involved now. And I just to shout out to them, the direction we're going in, and this is maybe my bias just on utility core role, is experiences with our NFTs. We have all these NFTs that are out there, or as Jack calls them, digital collectibles, because they have multiple prints. I like to say our digital collectibles are liquid. There's typically a bid and ask on all of them. And we want to get them into experiences. We have Sean building the metaverse. We have a partnership with Action. They're going to be dropped in the Actionverse. We have lots of ideas floating out there about card games. And ultimately, 6-12 months down the road from now, we're going to start picking winners and saying to this is the core JPEG experience that you can use. We have the library being built, which is freaking amazing. So 12 months down the road from now, we're going to say these are the core experiences that you can use your NFTs in. This is the JPEG universe. And we need developers to help create those experiences. We also need developers to guide us, a little bit more of a technical guide, and say, this is a good idea, this is a bad idea, this is going to last a long time. All of these metaverse projects, a lot of them are asking similar questions. How do you easily integrate a Stellar wallet into a game? How, as a developer, can I interact with it? Is there an API for that? If you can help answer that question, there are multiple sources of funding. There's JPEG Innovation Grants. Actionverse wants an answer to that. Sean is part of a company that has cold hard cash if you have an answer to that question. So come answer the hardest questions. How do we get our Stellar wallets interacting with games? Because if you can answer that question, if you can help NFTs be bought and sold and traded in-game with our liquid NFTs, that's something that can only be done on Stellar because it's fast, and it can only be done with our NFTs because they're liquid. And so it would just be huge. So yeah, come answer these super hard developer questions about NFTs and metaverses.
One thing that people don't realize a lot about Stellar is that there's actually 3 distinct asset classes. You have the standard token, which is divisible to 7 decimal places. You have the NFT, which is non-fungible, 1 of 1. And then you have a pretty unique asset classes, these digital collectibles, which are non-divisible and at the smallest Stroop amount, 0.000001. So there's 3 different tools that you have to work with. And, like Brian was saying, you can't have liquid NFTs. It's by nature impossible. But you can have liquid digital collectibles. There's so many different, within these 3 asset classes on Stellar, they each have pros, they each have cons, they each have, different use cases. And I'm very excited to see how we can look at these digital collectibles or multi-mint NFTs and find the utility in them. Because when people really think about these three different asset classes and how different they are, and it makes a big difference in how you plan out your program, your agenda, your project. And I'm excited to see where that goes. And there's not a lot of networks that offer these multi-mint NFTs. So Stellar has a lot of advantages. And when you talk about Action Token, Brian, did you get to test out that beta at all on test
I
flight?
did. I grabbed an Action Token by my staircase. It was amazing.
That's going to change the game for Stellar. That when anyone has really high level conversations about Stellar and what they need, what needs to happen, it always comes down to we need new adopters, we need fresh blood, and the potential for that app to onboard people to this network cannot be overstated. There's several reasons for that. Holovox and his connection with Band Token, it's a perfect storm, and with JPEG providing some cool NFTs, with Na crushing it on art over there. Think about it. Think about Pokemon Go, but with NFTs, with digital collectibles, with play to earn, with all these gamification, the utility of fun, as I like to call it. I mean, that's the greatest utility there is fun. That's why Disney's so successful. That's why, the lines at theme parks are so huge, because fun is a utility. And it's also a great way to bring people into a very intimidating space. If you tell me I can download an app for free and start hunting for these NFTs that everyone in the news is talking about, a lot of people are going to wake up to that. You could talk about 10,000, hundreds of thousands of new people coming into Stellar, and by downloading this app, next thing you know, they have a wallet. They've got assets on the network. They can start looking at other things. I mean, I am super bullish on these guys, and I'm so proud that JPEG is working with them, because it can really, really change the game. STF needs to pay attention. Stellar.org needs to pay attention. Everyone needs to look at what they're doing, help them out, because between the Stellar Women movement, which I think is huge, and Action Tokens, I mean, those are our two of our best chances to really make Stellar stand out from the rest. So I don't mean to plug them too much, but geez, I love those guys.
Well, thank you for that. And I think we're going to start wrapping it up. We're hitting the 1 hour mark. Somehow made it past 30 minutes. So one thing to touch base on is our next workshop will be related to smart NFTs, color GIF, and introduction to SDF and SCF. The classes, I don't know if that's still going on. So I have to get a revised workshop, unless we still have Tyler and Silence joining us next week.
Let's check on that. Yeah, that may have got changed.
Yeah. So on that note, we have the wheel to spin today. So I'm going to pull that up. I'm going to pull up that wheel.
Exciting.
Where is the wheel?
Wheel of Destiny.
Yeah. Feels like it sometimes. Let's see. Too many windows open. It's my life now. Sorry, guys. That's not the button. Okay. All right. Can you guys see the wheel?
Sure can.
Yeah, that's it.
So, spin it. I think we got 3 winners today, right? So we got number 1. We got a lot of names today.
Oh, Renegade just
First, last.
congrats.
Man.
First, last.
I
We'll have
think,
to find you.
Yeah, I mean that's a great name. First and last.
You ain't first, you're last.
Caddy Scat Rat.
Nice.
She's really engaged in the community. I'm glad to see that.
Yeah, good to see that.
Last but not least. Oh, Debbie.
Oh.
Another very engaged community member. All right. So that has it.
How do they claim prizes?
Arnab is going to, I believe, make a post on Discord, and they'll reach out to Arnab, and if he's still around, you can confirm that. If not, then I think that's how he usually has done it in the past. So
Yeah, he's like a ninja. He'll take care of it.
yeah, he's having breakfast right now, dinner. All right, guys. Thank you.
He's the expert.
Thank you, all you guys, for joining us today. It's very exciting to caught up with a lot of exciting stuff. And
Thanks for today.
Thanks to all the commenters. You're keeping the excitement alive here. Lux, you got the sweatshirt on. Mine is in the laundry for the first time in like this year. It finally needs to be washed.
This can almost stand up on its own, I tell you what.
And Raymond, my wife is impressed. It withstands the laundry. It comes out. She's like, "Oh, I thought it was just this silly screen print." Nah, it stays pretty good.
Yeah, it's still good quality.
Awesome. Thanks so much, guys. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you, guys.
Bye now.
Sunset.
See you soon. Bye now.
See ya.
Bye-bye.